Man, I have been all over the place, but I see in chat we have a question already. Guys, if you're listening to our podcast, please consider watching us live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can be part of chat. You can see the cool visual elements, and you get a little bit of feedback. We like to talk to you guys. So in chat, someone's already asking, and let's just get this out of the way. Lone Star Open, they're asking about the 40K player packet. Guys, I promise you're going to get the 40K player packet. I'm very in a position of privilege that I get to see a lot of stuff before it's released to the public. There is going to be a packet out. It will be having all the information you need to know. We do not want to release it till we have the green light, but assuming early next week, we should have at least something ready for you guys. I will tell you, though, we will be using player place terrain because we do have Frontline Gaming terrain. So if you're familiar with player place terrain, it's going to be the same kind of thing, but we will be using the set precedent that will be used by Games Workshop at their Tacoma event. All right, Nick.
There we go.
Nicky D. We don't have Seth here, man. Did you bless him? I know you're a Nurgle fanatic here. What the hell, man?
No, it's been a little while since Seth and I have seen each other, so I did not have anything to do with this. We love Seth. We miss him. That's here. But you know what? The guy deserves a night off as well. He's been doing a lot for the network over the last few months, so that's okay. We're gonna make it all work and pull together here. But Kicker, you've been out and about, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell people what's going on?
Yeah, sorry I wasn't here for the past 2 weeks, guys. I was working ACO, and then I was camping in the Maine. And on Sunday, I'm like, it's time to get back to the South. So I drove. Can we show this image of the ridiculous drive I did? I drove,
there we go.
I drove from Boston to New Orleans. I left Boston on Sunday. I got to New Orleans Monday night. I basically didn't stop. I do have this kind of cool camper van. We can show my little camper van there. I'm pretty proud of it. I can sleep in it, so I just kind of pulled over to the rest stop, just slept a little bit, and kept on going. So I that was kind of my hobby progress, I guess, for the week, was just getting home. But I love this damn game so much. I love 40K so freaking much, man. It's sick. Like, I was exhausted, I was tired, but on the entire drive back, I'm like, I've got so many cool ideas. Snipers. Nicky D, snipers and guard are cool. They're cool again. They've always been cool, but now
were they not cool? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right? Now they're functional and cool, but there's not too many snipers in the current model range and current plastic model range. So I'm like, I'm going to kit bash some. So if you look on the little photo there, I've kind of taken all sorts of different bits to make my platoon command squad sniper, and he is so badass, dude. I used the minis from the Bombast kit, and I used a cool sniper rifle thing that I made myself out of Scion bits. And anyway, I'm just so stoked to see this guy on the table. But Nicky D, what have you been up to? You've had more time to hopefully get a little hobby progress in, right? Come on.
One would think, but the summertime is a busy time with many family obligations and other things that we are going through. So I have not really had a chance since Atlantic City to work much on my models from that part of it. I will say, and advancing the screen, I did get in, and actually you can tell that it was today because I'm wearing the same shirt in the picture. That way, same shirt in the picture that I'm wearing on screen.
Not necessarily. You could wear a stinky ass shirt for 3 days in a row, and we would not know. Thanks to
I'm not that much of a Nurgle follower, Kicker. Not that much. But I got my Leviathan box in today. Ordered it from Frontline Gaming. Which, if you are looking for new miniatures or to get the latest items that we're going to talk about on pre-order in a little bit, make sure to use those through the affiliate link on the show. It helps feed Kicker all that breakfast cereal that he loves. But yeah, I got my box in today, opened it up just to check out the contents, because we all know you love that feeling of opening the box and pulling out the screws just to look at them, and the Biologist, Apothecary. I'm so excited.
Right? Like the weight of the box is so satisfying.
Yes. It's a great thing. So yeah, from that part, I'm going to be having a little bit more travel this upcoming weekend. So I pulled out the rule book. I've got some light reading to do this weekend while on the road. Not while I'm driving, while my wife is driving, I will do reading, just so that we're perfectly clear about this sort of thing. And then we're gonna go from there. So I'm really excited. I've got an RTT. Not this weekend, but the following. So I need to learn how to play this game. I got to figure it out. I think I'm still going to stick with Chaos Demons for a little bit. But when it comes to the 10th edition, don't really know. We've got a lot to play around with. My Necrons are calling. My Death Guard are not. I'm not feeling too hot about them. But we're going to see where these things go. So, Kicker, we've got a lot to cover here.
You said something. We've got to stick on 10th edition, because 10th edition is going to be kind of a running theme for this episode, as well as for the next few months.
Oh, yeah.
But you just said you're going to go to this RTT. You're going to be playing 10th edition. This will be your first 10th edition tournament, right?
It is. It will be.
I want to call him my Astra Militarum Imperial Guard Sensei. My one of my good friends, Marcus Tanner. He's made it to every single Frontline Gaming event this year so far, by the way. So kudos to Marcus. He's up from Washington. I was asking him, like, man, like, we got a new edition. What's the strategy? What kind of army do you bring? Do you bring, something you know and love, and you kind of already got the basic mechanics, or new edition, just throw it all out the window, start from scratch, try something totally crazy? And he was telling me, man, start with what you kind of know. And get that base, get some games under your belt, and then maybe go crazy. But I usually don't listen to anyone, even my sensei. So I decided to try and do something totally different. I've never owned a Baneblade, but I'm going to go buy one and paint that up and see how that goes, as well as a lot of infantry. Normally, I don't like to run horde armies with infantry, but I'm like, you know what? Let's run a couple big tanks and a whole bunch of infantry and see how that goes. So yeah.
Well, that's good. Kicker, let's jump into it for this week. A lot, and we're going to talk about 10th edition throughout the course of this episode, guys. So I see there's already a lot of folks that might be even working out some trades for models in the chat there. Guys wanting the Space Marines, guys wanting the NIDS. But anyways, Kicker, let's jump into it. We Leviathan is now out in the wild. It's in our hands. It's in my hands, as seen from the prior picture. But when it comes to pre-orders this upcoming weekend, what can folks get and what can they order?
We do have some non-10th edition pre-orders. We're talking about Age of Sigmar.
We got to give it a break.
Right, we got to get a little variety, right? A little spice in our life. 10th edition did sell out at a lot of places. I think FLG might have a few more in stock, but I knew it is getting kind of hard to get this brand new box set. Fear not, all those things will be released individually soon. I'm sure, there's no question about it. But it is getting a little more challenging to find that big box set. This week, though, GW pre-orders involves the Dawnbringers Book 1. This is the start of a story progression for Age of Sigmar. It's kind of like what's the series they're doing for 10th edition, or I guess 9th?
Or it was in 9th edition. It was Arcs of Omen, right? Yeah. That we had, where it was that series of 5 books, and each book had some new models or new characters that come with it.
Rules, yeah.
Hey, Age of Sigmar 40K, it's all under the same company. So my bet here, Kicker, is that it's going to be a lot of the same. It's going to be a lot of that same kind of thing, that we get these books, new model. Actually, Games Workshop has said there's going to be new models for many of the factions that come along with this, new boxes that folks can order as well. And I think some of those are coming up for pre-order.
Yeah. So each one of there'll be 4 new box sets for some of the more popular factions. We're going to get the Fire Slayers, the Gloom Spike Gits, the Flesh Eater Courts, and the Maggotkin of Nurgle. Each one of these have a brand new box. It's kind of like a start collecting box, but you get a really cool new model that it can only be found in that box. I'm sure the model will eventually be released on its own, but right now, if you want that new model, you got to get the new box.
Have to get it here.
Yeah, got to get them here. They're good deals, though. You get a lot of good miniatures, and you get the brand new one. The General's Handbook, which is kind of like the chapter approved for Age of Sigmar. That just went. That's going live too. And for LSO, that's going to be used. It's kind of like a big, like, oh, quick. What do you do? Do you use the old stuff or you use the new stuff? But for Lone Star, we'll be using the new stuff. But let's go back to 10th edition. I got to talk about 40K, man. Like, we
we'll allow it.
We have to. All right, we have to do it, dude. The app. Knee-jerk response. What do you think, man? The 10th edition 40K app. What do you think, Nicky D? No censorship here. Let it all hang out. Just be honest. What do you think?
I've got, I think, 6 test lists that I've put into the app. Overall, I like the output of the app. Basically, when you put your list together, right, and having that part set, when you're in the app, you can put the units into there. There's a little icon on the top, so you can view the data sheet. Yeah. I like it. It's definitely it's got its own spiderweb approach to get to the items. You have to learn that, but you get it with muscle memory, I think. So that part, that it'd be really nice if you could look at the list and click, a unit, like say Intercessors, and it pops up right there, rather than having to see it from the other way. But I like that. I like that part of the app, though. I like it as a starting point.
The list super easily, right? Like it's exported into a format. It's not like this big complicated process. Yeah.
Overall, I mean, Kicker, to me, it's a sort of thing where it's got a few bugs. It's not. And not Tyranids. Well, it does have those in the app, but it's not perfect, but it is a very solid, I would say, 7 out of 10. And I might be saying it might be a little higher than that, but because I love Nurgle, I'm gonna say 7. But overall, I actually really like it, and I think it has some legs for use by the large community as you're planning your list, as you're going to show your list to other players. Hopefully, if everybody gets kind of on board with using it, it's a centralized source. So I'm positive about it.
Cool. Chat, tell us what you think. Nicky D will be reading your comments. Tell us what you guys think. I'm gonna be straight up, man. This app compared to what we had in 9th edition, I mean, game changing. Like it's a
Yeah.
world
Oh, yeah.
different. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, right? Because it's like, wow, we can make really cool stuff. Like we can have really cool apps in this game system. So the app is a huge improvement from the previous one. It's free, which is always nice. Now the free is probably short term, right? We're sure there's gonna be a paid version eventually, but right now there's no reason to go out there and not go out there and start playing around with it. The data sheets are all in there, and it's like they're like you can push a button to see, I guess, the key word for like a weapon, like devastating wounds. You can press the button, I guess, press devastating wounds on that data sheet, and it'll tell you what devastating wounds does or sustain hits. So it's really, really simple to use. You know what the word is? It's intuitive. The app is extremely intuitive. I'm kind of a Luddite. I'm kind of like not a tech dude, right? Like I just went and camped in the woods for funsies, you know, like that is my happy place. And this app, I was able to pick up and immediately start creating lists, looking up army, rules, questions. It's pretty damn perfect in terms of the intuitiveness. Now, yes, can it be better? Of course it can be better. But right now, what we got is pretty damn good to start us off with. We got some stuff from the chat. Take it away, Nicky D.
Yeah, so we already got some of the folks that are in the chat as well. Shocker here, Kicker. 40K players have opinions on Warhammer. So we've got Dean, a friend of the show, might have been roommate of mine at Atlantic City Open. He's noted that the app looks really clean, and he does wish that it had some better filter options for armies that he plays or when he's selecting a certain thing. But like I said, it's clean. Joel Adkins, happy with the app so far. I noted it a 7 out of 10. Joel is marking it a 7 out of 8.
Oh,
I'm not sure what the difference in the scale is. Maybe he loves corn and having that part.
That's probably why he's a corn lover there, right?
Yeah. Which, by the way, Kicker, I'm going to have to put this in the front. Quick aside, quick tangent. We love tangents on the show.
Tangents are fine. Seth is not here, so we can
we got to cover it. I'm going to have to post this picture in the Frontline Gaming Community Facebook page. So check it out if you're not a member. Round 6. There were 2 players on table 8 of the 40K GT. Yep. 2 players on table 8.
Oh no!
They were both World Eaters. No. World Eater on table 8. I got a picture of it. It was magnificent. I can tell you those 2 guys had a great time. My buddy Evan had a great time playing on that table. Doesn't hurt that he won the game. So, anyways, back to our chat items though. Kelsey, fan of the app. Good and simple. He does note it is a question of, hey, it's free for now. How long will that last and what will it be? But then also, as pointed out by Joel Adkins, Joel already commented once, but he's coming back for another freebie here. Joel says he's paying for Warhammer Plus anyways. So, it's a sort of thing where, that's, but as another member of the chat points out, well, if you're paying for Warhammer Plus, is that going to get you all the options? If you have to buy a codex to get rules for those once those start coming out, we'll find out soon enough on those parts of it. But I think overall, the usability, the intuitiveness of the app, the chat has spoken. They are fans.
The chat has spoken. That's all that matters. Let's talk about some nerd news, Nicky D. You have some exciting stuff you want to share. Please share.
Guys, we know him, we love him, and it is his final season on The Witcher. Henry Cavill, obviously, he's the most popular Warhammer 40K fan out there. Ever. I think that's pretty safe to say, right? Like, I feel like it's him and Gerard Way, the lead singer of My Chemical Romance. He's a big fan of Warhammer as well.
Or if we want to look back a little bit, Robin Williams is the player.
Robin Williams. Okay, Henry, I'm gonna revise my statement, Kicker. All right. Henry Cavill, most famous alive Warhammer 40K fan, right? Robin Williams is that guy's an absolute legend. Anyways, season 3 of The Witcher, volume 1, so it's going to be split into 2 volumes. It comes out this weekend. Even while I'm traveling and doing some things, I'm going to at least catch an episode or 2 of The Witcher. I'm really excited for it.
Shit, you just said volume 1. I didn't catch that when I saw the little teaser trailer thing. That's a little disheartening because I hate when they break up a season and just to milk it for a little bit longer. But it's Witcher, so whatever. I'll give it a shot. Yeah, I'll stay around for whole ride. Okay, that's cool. I was driving back from Boston in my van. I wanted to watch something at night. I just kind of was dicking around and I was like, well, I got to find something to watch. The Orville. That's on Disney Plus. I'm like, I don't normally watch that much stuff on Disney. I mean, besides the obvious like Star Wars stuff, some MCP, Marvel stuff, whatever. The occasional old movie with my kid, but the Orville, I don't even know what the hell this is. But I watched it and I was like, holy crap, this is a great show. Have you seen this?
So you're watching it from the beginning, Kicker, is what you're saying, right?
Episode 1, season 1. I don't even know how many seasons are, man. But it's basically Star Trek, but funny.
Yeah, so I watched the first season of The Orville when it originally came out. I don't know how many years ago, because it was positioned as, and for those that are listening to the show or in the chat, it's Seth MacFarlane, right? The guy who did Family Guy, and it's him doing basically a mockumentary or kind of mock version of a Star Trek show.
Yeah.
For myself, as someone who grew up, I was born in the mid to late 80s. As someone who grew up loving and watching Star Trek The Next Generation, it was like he took Star Trek The Next Generation, took Family Guy jokes, and like mashed them together.
And it's live action. It's live action. Like, there's good production value to this thing.
Yep. And so it's the show where it kind of took a little while to get its legs. I watched the first season and I watched most of the second season. I dropped off, but I think it's still got another season or two after that. I became a fan of it. So Kicker, you pointed it out. It makes me think that I have to go back and watch it from the beginning because I did enjoy what I liked. I liked what I watched with that show. I thought it was really good. It had a lot of heart to it. It was a cool sci-fi show.
That's what it has.
So I'd recommend it.
Right? It's like kind of like it's like just easy enjoying. You know, it's like trash TV. It's just something you're gonna watch and laugh. You're not gonna get any sort of deeper meaning, but you're gonna giggle a little bit out of it. So yeah, highly recommend that if you're looking for something random to watch. We got to talk about event news. Lone Star Open, dude. Damn, dude, it has gotten big. No, 40K is not it is big, but it's not like it's massive, but all the other game systems have really grown. Like Legion, that's insane. Legion's going to be our largest event outside of LVO. It's going to be the largest Legion event outside of LVO. It's just gotten like, what the hell? Like, seriously? Legion at LVO, Lone Star got the qualifier, the world's qualifier. It's an AMG thing. It's got basically the highest status you can get to be an event. So it's fully supported by the manufacturer. And so that has a lot of people jumping on board to go play. So we got Legion. Oh, and we just added Kill Team. So if you've been waiting, because there's at least 20 people that have been emailing me like every few days asking about Kill Team, we finally got a nice local TO to stand up and run Kill Team at Lone Star Open, so you can play that. And last thing, I know this isn't on our notes, but I need to share it. Today I just ordered our wristlets, our wristbands for all the different military factions, because Lone Star Open is our military appreciation event.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, I know that we'll have the wristband that matches their branch, so that people can tell who is representing what different division of the military.
Yeah, Kicker, we'll have to make a note of this for our shows over the next couple of weeks and calling out in the chat. I remember ahead of last year's Lone Star Open, there were a few challenges across the different branches of the armed forces that were grudge matches, if you will. And so that part, I'll just say, whether it's Lone Star Open and across the military branches, or even just general gaming at Frontline Gaming events, I would like if we can have more grudge matches. Maybe if there's a Thursday night meet and greet, that's a great time to do some grudge match games. Or Sunday, or the Sunday RTTs, great chance for some grudge matches as well.
So at Lone Star Open on Friday, there's going to be some expo games, but there will be grudge matches. We did grudge matches last year. We're doing it this year. So if you are representing one of the military branches and you want to take on somebody from another branch, throw it down, challenge somebody, and we will have the platform there. You'll be allowed to play all Friday night. And yes, Nicky D, I think this is a genius idea. I think at LVO, like Thursday night grudge matches, that should be a thing. That we should make that happen. You can even be like nation versus nation. I mean, like the Icelandic guys taking down the Germans. I don't know. It's just
And yeah, I mean, we got a lot of things to figure out, but we know somebody that is streaming for 40K events. So the most prestigious of the grudge matches, maybe something cool can get worked out for that as well.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so we're talking about all these different things. Let's talk about Las Vegas Open real fast. All the packages are basically sold out. So the packages are the tickets that have all the stuff, including the con badge. Those are really good value. Those are basically totally sold out for every game system at the LVO. But we do have some standard tickets left. Not many, just a handful. But for example, for 40K, I think 90% of all tickets are gone. So we have still a few more tickets. But every day, tickets are gone. Tickets are going. So get your 40K ticket now. Do not miss out. Age of Sigmar, totally sold out. There are no standard tickets. There's no packages. Even narratives almost sold out for Age of Sigmar. Age of Sigmar is going to be massive, guys. We actually sold it out by 110%. We oversold it. So now we're going to have to make more terrain. Like, we're already making terrain as of this afternoon for Age of Sigmar at LVO. Legion and Kill Team only have a few tickets left, but they are going to be way bigger than last year. Oh, and Conquest, like out of the blue, Conquest is that, I don't know, it's like kind of a fantasy game. That's getting really, really big too. I'm just kind of surprised. Finally, we're doing after hours for many different game systems at LVO. It will be mainly Friday night. There are going to be games that take place between 8 and whenever at night. They'll be by a big old cash bar. This is an awesome chance for you to play a game system that's maybe not your primary game system. So, for example, you want to play Shatterpoint. There will be a Shatterpoint after hours. It's going to be way more of a chill vibe. The ticket is basically free. It's like $5, maybe $10. Super chill. Just go hang out, drink some beers, roll some dice, do something a little different than play your competitive game all day. Oh, we got some questions. What's going on?
Yeah, two questions I've seen from members of the Frontline Gaming Community about LVO. The first one, Kicker, will Reese be available to compete in push-up contest at LVO?
If you challenge him, I will enforce it because done deal.
Okay.
I mean, who wants to challenge Reese to a push-up competition? We might as well get this on the record now.
A lot of orc players. A lot of orc players. Kicker.
All right, cool.
But question number 2, folks want to know, was not announced with, or was not available with the LVO packages, but room block for LVO. Do we know when that is going to go live?
Good question. Okay, so we want to be fair. We want to allow everyone to be able to get access to the room block at the exact same time. So the room block there's a new owner of the Rio. And so we're waiting for that to be given to us. And then we're going to release it to everyone at the exact same time. We're going to tell people, hey, the room block's going to go live now, and give people, like a day or two to prepare. The room block is going to be really cool because you'll have multiple options of rooms to choose from. A lower price one, which is the existing current Rio rooms, or the brand new fancy rooms that are getting updated, which are legitimately amazing and only a few dollars more. More information on all that will be coming in the next few weeks. I honestly, the room block, get your ticket now, your room block, we'll give you a little heads up, and then usually, guys, in transparency, the room block doesn't sell out in the first month. You have some time. So once we go live with that, do act, but you don't need to scramble.
Yeah. Usually those room blocks have a deadline, and you don't want to be the guy who realizes that the room block deal is gone the day after that it finishes up, right? That's the big question mark.
Yeah, and let's just be transparent. If you don't get in the room block, you're kind of shit out of luck. You do not want to stay at the Rio at that point because it's expensive, man, because we basically take up the majority of the whole hotel. So at that point, whatever rooms are not sold part of a room block, they really raise the price up high. Now we're talking about 2 months before the event. If you're still trying to get your room, geez, man, might be a little bit of a stretch. But anyway, we will have the room block. It'll be very clear and posted, and everyone will have the same exact chance to get in on it. Signal short. This is time for Nick. Nick, are you asking us a question, or
I'm gonna ask this question for us as this one goes. So our signal short for this week, guys, pretty simple. Was actually brought up to me as a question actually at ACO a couple weeks ago. So signal short question: what would be your walk up song to arrive at a table and play Warhammer?
Okay, can we chat? Chat's gonna be involved because we don't have Seth here. Let's chat. What is your theme song? You're walking to the table. You're gonna roll some dice. What are you hearing in the background, man? What are you listening to? Seth, I guess, phoned in his answer. I see it on our notes. He wants "For Whom the Bell Tolls." I don't know who sings that. What song?
Kicker. That's a classic Metallica song.
Oh, jeez.
I can actually tell you, when I was a kid growing up playing Warhammer Fantasy in my basement, I had a Skaven based playlist. Usually songs about plague or bells and things like that. Yeah, and that was the lead song for it. So I love this choice by Seth. This is an A+.
All right, don't judge me because apparently I don't listen to badass music. Mine is definitely Thunder by Imagine Dragons. That was my race song that my wife and I listened to before we go run races, and I don't really and I used to listen to music before going to tournaments, but I actually stopped doing it because it would hype me up so much that I was less focused. I did bad. I actually I ran the data, and whenever I listened to music, my win percentage was significantly worse. So now going into a tournament or even just a casual game, I do not listen to music. I enjoy the slow drive in. Maybe I'll listen to a podcast, but I don't get myself up. Nicky D, what is yours?
Well, Kicker, first, you said Thunder by Imagine Dragons. Joel in the chat says Thunderstruck by AC/DC.
Okay,
so
that's a good one.
And that's so involving Thunder. I'm actually going to keep this Thunder train rolling because the song choice that I would go with is Blood and Thunder by the Mighty Mastodon.
Are you serious? We're just doing this.
Yeah, no, right. I mean, Blood and Thunder by Mastodon. One, it's an amazing song. It's the lead track off of their Leviathan album. It's usually what they close their sets with, and just the opening riff for that gets the blood pumping, especially for someone like me that likes to play. See, Kicker, you said that you get too excited, but I like to play fast, aggressive armies. So that song, if I can listen to something like that's like Blood and Thunder by Mastodon, or In Waves by Trivium, that's another favorite. Like, that gets me in the mindset to let's go, let's do this thing.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah,
I did have a runner up. It was the Ninja Turtles theme song, "Go Ninja Go." But let's just not.
I mean, the Vanilla Ice song from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you know it.
I do. Fun story. When you see me at LVO, ask me about the time that I met Vanilla Ice in person, and I've got a good story for you. But other Kicker, I'll give a couple of other shout outs from the chat. Kelsey, our friend Kelsey. We
Kelsey.
Got the Moves by Electric Callboy. I like that choice. Matt Morrisoli, who was one of the top players at LVO, I know he's a big fan of that, because the whole time at LVO he was wearing an Electric Callboy hat, so I know he's a big fan of that. Disflux, his choice is Primus. The song by Primus is called Here Come the Bastards. Love that song. I love that choice. Disflux, that's a great one. Dean, Take Over from League of Legends. Another good selection that's there. And then with regards to our choice of songs here in the Thunder parts there, Kelsey is asking, did we stop, collaborate, and listen to come up with that list, which is obviously a reference to Vanilla Ice that we noted as well. So chat on fire tonight. I'm loving this.
On fire. All right. I love it. Should we do a little bit of a recap of ACO? Did you want to give us like your quick, because I wasn't obviously here last week. What was your thoughts? You went to this event. It was a very large event. It went very smoothly. For me, it's always, do we start on time? Do we end on time? Are people getting food and drink? Are they happy? Is there toilet paper in the bathroom? Is there any mess that needs to be cleaned up? The event ran really smoothly. There was no issues. So I'm happy. But you as a player, you were playing. What was your experience what I thought you had? Was it a good one?
So I was at ACO as a player, someone who wanted to go and play 6 games of 40K as the bell tolled midnight on 9th edition. Some of my favorite things, actually, the Thursday night meet and greet was very, very cool. Had a lot of people come in for that were, people were traveling in at different times, but some drinks, people got to hang out there, get to meet some folks were throwing dice as well, throwing dice in the sense that they were playing games, not just throwing dice randomly. But
although
so that
was
really
cool. Fun, like pub game or something. I don't know, kind of dice. I don't know. We were like beer pong, but with dice. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that was really great. And then the other thing, just as it went for ACO, I talked about this on last week's show, which I did as a pre-recorded episode for everybody. I think the coolest thing about going to these big events is going to meet new people and seeing some of the different, not just people, but teams that, it's one team and, one guy plays a couple players on this other team, and they may not even know. And by the end of it, like, the groups are going out for dinner together. They're best friends. I'm in a lot of different 40K Discords, and I see 40K Discords for certain teams now being infiltrated but welcomed in by these players that they played at the prior events. So it's that sort of thing where when you've got that many people, when you've got 200 people coming for a big event like that, and you see those interactions afterwards, like, Kicker, that's why we go for these things. It's for the people. So I thought that was a really cool, even if we were saying goodbye to 9th edition, those memories people had are going to be the lasting impact of that event.
Yeah. I got to give a shout out to the East Coast members of the 40K community. I got bombarded with cereal. I think I got 8 boxes of cereal over the weekend. Like, that is a very generous community. The guys in Texas are going to have to try and compete with that, because guys, I do love cereal. That's really kind of you. And those of you that have listened to our podcast, those of you that met me in person, know that I really do eat a lot of cereal. It's what keeps me going, especially at events. Getting 8 boxes from that 3-day weekend was tremendously generous of you guys. So thank you. But on a less personal note, but just something that I thought was a really good thing for ACO, which I do want to roll out at all of our events, and this is not like something I want to, I should say, we are going to be doing, is the Army Showcase. That was such a cool concept. We had Jacob there being our head paint judge there. He's a member of our community. He runs the Hobby Goblins, and he was going to play, but we ended up needing another judge because the event had grown, and he went up there and he said, like, why don't we do this like showcase to really show off these beautiful armies? And it was such a cool idea. I think it was Friday after round 3 we did the show, or was it Saturday after? Was it Saturday? Do you remember, Nick? Was it Saturday or Friday? I can't remember.
I think it was Saturday, but
Saturday. The idea is after the day ended and everyone's there, we lined up all the beautiful armies from both Age of Sigmar and 40K, and everyone got to go take photos of these beautiful armies. And of course, we got to get really good photos ourselves. And the judges themselves got to really compare the best armies beautifully displayed right next to each other to help them make that decision. So
I'll add,
cool.
Kicker, it was really cool too, because a lot of the people that painted those armies, they were there, and so it was really cool to see some people coming up, and it's almost like an art gallery, where it's like you've got the artists showing off what they're doing, and people ask, oh, how did you do this, or how'd you get this effect, or how'd you again, that to me as someone, because it was Saturday, and it was actually right behind the table that I was playing at the time. So that's how I remember it. But yeah, it was really cool. There were a couple guys that posted some videos and photos in the FLG community page as well. I know some people were asking about paint and hobby rankings, but make sure you go through the Facebook group there. You'll be able to see some of the photos, some of the great work that was done. It was all really, really cool. Not just and being able to see it across game systems as well, which was just. That's what we're here for.
I mean, I know everyone always says how beautiful Age of Sigmar armies are in comparison to 40K stuff, but guys, 40K armies are gorgeous too. It was nice to see them next to each other. Yes, Age of Sigmar models are pretty damn gorgeous. Just the models themselves are gorgeous. But the paint jobs, the display boards for both were just amazing. So guys, this is trademarked. This is an official thing. We'll be doing the Frontline Gaming Army Showcase at every single Frontline Gaming event from now till forever. So at Lone Star Open, guys, get ready. We'll be doing the Army Showcase on Saturday after the last round.
Excellent.
Let's jump into a little bit of 10th edition, guys. Everyone's been playing. It's out. What is your knee-jerk response? Chat, tell us what you think. We'll be reading. Nicky D, take it away first. Have you played a single game yet? Have you actually gotten to play a single game of 10th?
I have not. I've just talked to lots of people because that's what we do. I've just talked to lots of people that have played 10th and have had some of their first experiences with the new edition. Folks really seem to be liking a lot of the USRs, which are the Universal Special Rules that really help to simplify it. The part that I've heard the most excitement for, Kicker, and this is a bit of surprise to me based on the community, but the thing that people have been most excited about have been the missions, the tactical missions with the draws each turn and the
random mission, the random mission. So not the I mean, it's fun, man. It's fun.
The thing I like about it, and I've seen it already in group chats and in some of the other conversations I've had, it really influences how people do list design. That, if you're playing at a tournament, depending on how points and tiebreakers and all those things are done, you need to have a list that isn't just a leaf blower list. You need to have a list that can score points, that can hold objectives, be in different places. You need to be able to do that really at all times. So I think that's one thing that I like about it. I think that breeds a lot of diversity into the list. It's going to be different depending upon, terrain where you're playing and that sort of thing. But I've heard that really as a positive, that people have actually liked how it makes them think differently, which that's probably what the point was.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea that you can't just guarantee your game plan. Like you like basically we're talking about flexibility here, right? But no matter how good of a player you are, you're still going to have to be. You're going to be good based off how flexible you can be to pivot to your missions that you get or your secondaries. So I really, I agree. That's pretty cool. I like. Well, this is kind of a weird one. I like the new app and how easy it is to build armies in that app. And I think that's because, all the war gear is basically included with your points cost. I know it's kind of a controversial subject, but I kind of like that. It's like, okay, this squad has all the weapons on it, which means I get to use all those bits from the sprue. I get to put all the guns on there. But it is a little frustrating right now in this current, week of my life where I'm like, I got to go back to that infantry squad and build another special weapon, or my tank needs sponsoons, or it needs a heavy stubber up top. So there is some hobby / modeling annoyances here that I'm having to go back and readjust my loadout, because of course you're going to put a power fist instead of a power sword. But I guess it's worth it because I'll be able to bring all the cool toys. I guess Nicky D, will anyone ever take a las pistol or over a bolt pistol now? Like, is there any reason to take the weaker of options since the points are all built into the squad? Like, I can't think of why someone would take a chainsword over a power sword.
I mean, rule of cool, and if you think that thing is cooler, that could be it. I think there's a lot of folks that have questions on some of those combinations. It's a fair question, Kicker, right? And when points are set as they are, there's going to be some options where things are not exactly the same, but I'll note there's also been some changes. So even like my beloved Sanguinary Guard, for my Blood Angels, like they've got Inferno pistol options, or the Angelus Bolt Gun or the Plasma pistol. those weapons, multiple of those weapons have seen changes for their rules. So they each have different roles depending on what you're facing. There's a lot of instances where there's not necessarily a best choice. Depending on what's in the meta, there could be a best choice. But yeah, I'm interested to see where that part goes. And speaking of looking to see where things change with 10th edition, I'll note a couple of things from the chat. A couple folks are pointing out that yes, it's definitely a good thing to be a Knight or Wraith Knight player. So I'm just going to leave it at that, folks. You can check out plenty of other content if you want to hear about why that's good. And but having that part set, a lot of other folks talking about really liking the organization for the rules, callbacks. So it's pretty familiar for people that are maybe played in 6th or 7th edition with some of the USRs. So overall, pretty positive. People have pointed out it is a new edition. If Kicker, I don't know if you remember the beginning of 8th edition. Beginning of 8th was really tough. There was a lot of armies that will say that they were very unique. There were some items that had to be kind of worked out, and there were some rules updates that occurred. So let's see what Games Workshop does here.
I'm going to touch on that because I can see chat. I can see what the messages I get privately. I see the messages I get publicly. And I get to speak from a position where I get to interact with a lot of the guys that are involved with the creation. And let's just be straight up. I have to applaud GW. They are on top of things way more than I've ever seen them before. Yes, obviously this is a new edition. There's a lot of changes. There's going to be broken things, guys. It's a whole brand new game. I mean, a whole new edition. There's a lot of things, but the simple fact is that they're on top of things. Like, I'm legitimately impressed with how quickly they're working behind the scenes, scrambling to make 10th edition what it is and what it's going to be. So give it some time, have a little faith, but it's going to be the best edition because I know the guys behind the scenes making this edition, writing the rules, correcting the rules, updating everything. They are working tremendously hard and really listening to all the feedback. So yes, guys, like right now out the gates, there's all sorts of stuff that needs a little fixing, whether it's the app or the actual data sheets or cards or rules. There's some little fixes, but guys, they're working on it, and that should give you the hope and the faith to keep on playing and go through these these early phases of a new edition.
Yeah. I think that the part of it is go out there, play some games, have some fun with it. We're going to have multiple years of playing this edition, so it might be a little bit weird at first, and we also have to get adjusted to a new thing. But don't get too angry if things aren't working exactly like you think they are or they should be. But speaking about getting angry, Kicker, let's talk about the Frontline Gaming affiliate channels and specifically the Angry Joe Show. It's a relatively new addition that Seth brought into the group, but the Angry Joe Show, they've got a new episode that came out this week featuring Play on Tabletop Titans, and Signals from the Frontline featuring our boy Seth. This was pre-recorded. It's not that show that got him sick, guys. Don't worry. But yeah, so yeah, he was there. Check it out. Great show. I watched about half the show actually yesterday morning while I was having my breakfast and coffee. Really cool interview about why people play 40K, what's new and cool about 10th edition. So I recommend checking that out. Again, that's Angry Joe Show on YouTube. In addition, Vanguard Tactics, they've been putting out some reviews of the indexes. I've been really enjoying those myself. The one that is in my podcast feed now is with Admech and what they're doing.
I listened to this morning on my run. I'm like, I like their take on it. You know, they always do a great job, but I mean, listen to it. Even if you don't play Admech, it's kind of cool to see what they can do so you can prepare for it.
Yeah. And then finally, last thing I'll note as far as our friends with the FLG affiliates, Joe, War Games Live, he is back on the road this week, and he is streaming. I think this is his first 10th edition event. Joe is in Reno, Nevada for the Rage GT. You can already find the link for that on YouTube, so go check that out. Support Joe, support Warhammer community, support 10th edition 40K, watch some cool games. Really looking forward to Joe's commentary here for the new edition. So that's going to be something cool to check out this weekend while you're prepping if you're in the United States, while you're prepping for your 4th of July big weekend blowout barbecue. So you got to have something on the TV while you're doing that food prep.
You got to. Let's talk about the community poll we did this week. We'll keep this one short and sweet, but basically we want to know what people prefer in terms of their awards for winning an event. Now, we're not just talking about best general. I mean, you could literally become in third
Could be
place winning
anything.
Spoon. It's irrelevant. What kind of award do you want when you achieve something at a frontline game event? And this information is what's going to help us figure out what we do for not only like the smaller events, but for LVO itself. Because at LVO, we have so many awards for so many different game systems. So it's like, well, what do people actually want to go home with? The options were a self-standing trophy. Think about like a traditional cup or a statuette, a wall-mounted trophy like a plaque or a frame certificate, something with like marble backing, something nice, right? A weapon replica, a prop like those chain swords you've been seeing around, a wearable medal. Think about running a race, right, on a ribbon, one of those stereotypical medals, or something cool like a Super Bowl ring, or maybe a wrestling belt, or a jacket like the Tour de France. I don't know. A jacket would be really cool. Imagine seeing a guy walking with this like a jersey of like I won LVO jersey, just the ego this guy would have. But it'd be kind of cool. Did you have a preference, Nicky D? What did you vote on? What were you thinking, man?
I did, and Kicker, I'm going to kind of spoil the lead on this as well, because the option that I chose and that I prefer is the option that most of the people like.
Yeah.
That is the weapon replica or prop. That was 45% or so of the vote. A pretty big winner, but there was another option that was pretty close, actually. But it's that sort of thing where we play Warhammer, we like chain swords don't exist in other things, guys, right? Yeah. Plasma pistols, like those are very unique things. I haven't been in a position to win one of those things myself, but some of my friends have. And they just look so cool. They're great conversation starters. So that to me is, if I'm going to win something related to Warhammer and 40K, I kind of want to win something that's a replica of that system.
Yeah. So there are challenges with that, right? And that was something that some people in chat. So when we post these polls, there's a lot of dialogue that takes place in the comments section. And some are like, but how do you travel home with that? And that's a legit problem we had at LVO. How do people travel home that flew to LVO with this, 3 foot long sword, It's so we do try to make them, if you make them a bit like at LVO, we made it a bit to dismantle, but it doesn't it limits you can't play with it as much if it's designed to fall apart. Like you can't swing it around, So,
Kicker, I've got a suggestion for you that depending upon your state or region may not be legal. But we need replica 40K weapon. The Leagues of Votan, they have one of those guys now that has brass knuckles. So that would be something that definitely fits. Because that's going to be nice and small, but League of Votan brass knuckles.
And it's functional too if you're walking some sketchy streets after a tournament. and brass knuckles, I mean, we already make die-cast challenge coins. We can easily make some die-cast brass knuckles that you go home with. Maybe that's it. Maybe we just figured it out, Nicky D. We just figured out the official Frontline Gaming trophy is a set of brass knuckles. Chat, tell us what you think. Number 2, though, by the community poll was the self-standing trophy, the cup. This is what we do. What we've been doing traditionally. It's classic. Yeah, it's classic. We have been doing these glass cups. People really seem to like them. People do drink out of them when they win, so that's always fun. I was kind of surprised. I thought so for me personally, like the wall mounted trophy is just it's easy. I can put it up on the wall. I don't have that much shelf space. All my shelf space is taken up by, guess what, miniatures. So having something I can just mount directly to the wall seemed like an easy option, but that only got 3% of the vote. Wearable medal got 1%, ring got 3%, wrestling belt though got 5% out of these like lower tier ones, and then the jacket with 1%. So no Tour de 40K jacket. So we'll probably be sticking with the replicas and props, and that's a good thing because we've got some really good friends in the community that are helping make these for us. So you want to take us out, Nick? Do we have some questions from chat? Anything else?
No. Chat's in a good place here. Excited for the show. I think we got a lot of ideas and things to think about ahead of Lone Star Open here as well. Yeah. A lot of folks with and Kicker, you said as far as upcoming packet for Lone Star. So folks in the upcoming weeks will have more information, obviously, about Lone Star, what to expect, train missions, all those sort of things. It's 10th edition, so things are all a little bit new and wacky, but hang tight. We'll get those parts. But Kicker, as we finish here, what are you excited for this weekend ahead? And between now and when we're back next Wednesday, what are you excited for?
I mean, like, I have not played a single game of 10th edition, and I'm so excited to play a game of 10th edition. I've been working on trying to get an army. It's not painted, but at least it's built just to go and play in a 10th edition game. So that is my goal, and I am so pumped for that. What about you, man? What's on your radar?
Cool. Well, first, safety. I'm going to give Kicker, I'm going to give a quick safety announcement for everybody. Again, for those here in the United States, before next week's show, we've got the 4th of July. Yeah. So please, everyone, make sure that you are safe. We don't want anybody rolling a 1 on their hazardous test. So please don't do that. jokes aside, please do be safe for that. That's obviously an important thing. We want everybody to be able to play their games. But I am getting excited. I'm going to be doing a little bit of hobbying even while I'm on the road this next week because I'm preparing for my first RTT. I'm going to run Chaos Demons. Folks, I don't know what the heck I'm going to be running yet, but I literally might be playing my first game of 10th edition at this RTT. So we'll see how that part goes. I'm going to run a Nurgle Great Unclean one. It might be Rodigus. I'm committed to doing that because what the heck, why not?
Do it.
All right. Well, Kicker, thanks for the show tonight. Seth, we miss you, buddy. Chat, you were great tonight. We'll see you here next week. And for everybody else, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Singles from the Frontline. We hope you had a great time. We hope you have a great week and see you next Wednesday.
Good night, guys.